Thank the Lord.
I don't really mind those babies that much. They don't bother me a lick. They stay here where they need to be at.
Yes, amen. That's right.
They can sit here and cry all they want to. If I can't preach loud enough, friends can't hear me. I don't need to preach it.
Amen. That's right. Sure.
But anyways, I hope everyone's had a good day. If you got your Bibles, we'll be reading out there over Mark chapter number 10, verse number 46. Mark chapter 10, verse number 46. And we'll be in our text tonight. There to find your place. Would you stand and able for the reading and reverence of the Word of God? Very, very familiar scripture. Probably been thousands of messages preached out of this scripture. But I don't think I've ever preached out of it before. I don't. But so if you just bear with me, I was really torn on what I should preach before I left the house this evening. I've been sitting down there studying for a little bit and studying on one message and thinking about it. I guess the Lord just directed me the other way.
Sure. Amen.
But Mark chapter 10, verse number 46 says, "And they came to Jericho, and as he went out of Jericho with his disciples and a great number of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging." It says, "And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, 'Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me.' And Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. And they called the blind man, saying unto him, 'Be of good comfort, rise, he calleth thee.' And he casting away his garment, rose and came to Jesus. And Jesus answered and said unto him, 'What wilt thou that I should do unto thee?' The blind man said unto him, 'Lord, that I might receive my sight.' And Jesus said unto him, 'Go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole.' And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way." Thank you for standing. You may be seated tonight. I appreciate the reverence and honor for the Word of God. And tonight, if I could, just for a few minutes, I'd like to preach on what the blind man saw. What the blind man saw is what I want to preach on just for a few minutes. But, back then, if you was blind or had any kind of disabled or disabilities at all, you wasn't really much. I mean, you was just no beggar, really. Sure. I mean, if you think about it, if you had any kind of disability, if you was blind or lame, or something like that, you couldn't work and provide for your family. Work was a lot different back then. You can't. If you have disabilities today, and that's all right. If you have a disability, you can probably, draw a little bit of money, and you can be pretty comfortable. They'll take care of you and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but but back then you couldn't do that. I mean, there was a man that sat here and he was blind. He was sitting on the wayside begging. And you think about that. One day we was in the same state as this man.
Yes, amen.
You think about, what the blind man saw that day. What the blind man saw that day. I mean, you just have to put it in your mind on what he had probably been through all his life in the time before this.
Yeah.
He had probably had troubles and trials. He probably didn't have, much really to go on, and there wasn't really much going for him.
Right.
And, if you think about that, there wasn't really much going for us until we got saved.
Right.
There really wasn't.
Yep.
And you think about,
Amen.
You think about the same state that we was in was pretty much the state of this man. I mean, if you go through the Bible and you read all these miracles and things that God done for people, made the lame to walk, made the blind to see, and so on and so forth. I mean, you can usually refer to that as whenever you was lost. You couldn't walk in the light of Jesus Christ. You couldn't see clearly, whenever you was lost. But if you think about it right here, what the blind man saw, and the only reason why he was able to see was his faith, and that was it. Right there in verse number, the Bible tells us right there in verse number 51, it says, "And Jesus answered and said unto him, What wilt thou that I should do unto thee? The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I might receive my sight. And Jesus said unto him, Go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way. And the first thing that I want to preach on tonight, the first thing that he saw as a blind man, not physically or nothing like that, but I believe he was sitting there, probably blind as a bat, and he saw the grace of God. I believe that.
Amen.
Everything in me. Ephesians 2 and 8 and 9 says, For by grace you are saved through faith, and not of yourself, for it is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. This man, he saw the grace of God.
Right.
He saw the grace of God. Now, even though that he was a blind man, he still sat there. That Jesus was passing by, and he got to see the grace of God. And I'm thankful for that. I am. James 4 and 6 says, But he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud.
Amen.
But giveth grace to the humble. I'm thankful for that. I am, if he would have been sitting there, if Bartimaeus would have been sitting there that day, and he would have been proud, he would have said, I'm good, I don't need this, I don't need that. Why wouldn't Jesus want to heal me? I'd probably say that Jesus Christ probably wouldn't heal him.
Sure.
But he was begging. There's people out every single day that think that they're owed something. They think they can do everything on their own, TJ. They think they can, all the money they can acquire in this life and everything they can do for themselves. But they haven't really experienced the grace of God. I mean, you think about that. I mean, this man right here, that was probably his last opportunity to ever be able to receive his sight. If he wouldn't have had faith that day, he wouldn't have never got to see his sight. He saw the grace of God. I mean, he saw what God could do for him. He saw where he was at. I mean, he was just on the highway side there probably. He was sitting there begging. He'd probably been sitting there, the majority of his life. They wasn't really much for him. They wasn't really much. I mean, he didn't have nothing going for him. And if you was completely honest with yourself, whenever you was lost, you didn't have nothing going for you that was any good. I mean, we was just pretty much just sorry old low-down sinners is all that we was. I mean, I know I was. I wasn't nothing but just an old beggar. I was, I wasn't really longing for nothing from God. I was longing for things of this world. I mean, I didn't really know where I was going to go next or nothing like that. But one day, whenever I was sitting there, Jesus passed by my way and he picked me up. Psalms chapter 40 and verse number 2, he said, I'll just read it right here. He said, Psalms chapter 4 and verse number 2 said, He brought me up out of a horrible pit and out of the miry clay and set my feet upon a rock and established my goings. I'm thankful that one day that He picked me up. He wiped my eyes out of the blindness that I was in. I mean, I wasn't really seeing very far. I was looking at the temporal things just like we talked about this morning in Sunday school. The only thing I was concerned with was the temporal things, what was going to happen right now, or maybe there wasn't really much of a tomorrow. But right now, I have a farther vision in my life. I can see what's going to happen. I have eternal thoughts now. I mean, this man right here, I believe, after he got to see the grace of God, he had more of a longing to Him. I believe he could see a little farther out than what he did before. Because I'd say, I mean, if you was blind and you was sitting there, especially in that time, I mean, you just got to put yourself in that perspective. I mean, there wasn't no surgeries or nothing like that. There wasn't no kind of a basic surgery. There wasn't nothing you could feel around and, they didn't have those things on the walls where you could kind of feel around those little dots and tell where you was going or nothing like that. They wouldn't know where he could go unless he had some kind of help. But I believe he got the right kind of help that day, Stacy. I believe he got all the help he'll ever need. And it was just because I believe he saw the grace of God that day, and I'm thankful for that.
Amen.
The day that the blind man saw, I mean, what the blind man seen, I mean, you think about that. Secondly, I'm going to preach on, I guess my second point would be, he got to see the love of God.
Sure.
He got to see the love of God. He got to see first the grace of God. I mean, you look what kind of grace that is. Just somebody that ain't never been much of nothing, sitting there begging, probably didn't have much, like I said. I mean, you got to put yourself in that position and think about that. He got to see the marvelous grace of God.
Amen. Sure.
Marvelous grace of God. I mean, but, secondly, he got to see the love of God.
Amen.
The love of God, He got to see what kind of love our Savior has. I mean, he got to see the love of Jesus Christ. And I'm thankful for that. I'd say there wasn't nobody much ever loved him before that. You think about that. I mean, like I said, he probably didn't have much, probably didn't have nobody, probably wasn't able to have a family or nothing like that much.
That's right.
He got to see the love of God. People usually just say whenever say Nathaniel's Bartimaeus, he's sitting there begging, people probably just turn their head whenever they walk by him.
That's right.
There wasn't no love much for that man. There wasn't. I mean, that's the same state that we was in. There probably wasn't much love for us. The only love that was for us was Jesus Christ. And that was it. That was it. I mean, you think about it. I mean, he probably never had anybody much love him before in his whole life.
That's right.
People just kind of pushed him aside. Just like they told right here, people told him to be quiet and things. People told him to be quiet. But he cried louder.
Right. Sure.
But, 1 John 4:19 says we love him because he first loved us.
Amen.
We love him because he first loved us. I mean, he loved him. I mean, he got to see the love of God. I mean, he got to see a love that he never experienced before.
Sure. Amen.
I mean, you think that your wife can love you. You think your mom and your dad can love you. That doesn't even hold a hill of beans or a candlelight to how much God loves you. I mean, the Bible tells us in John 3:16, said, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever shall believe on him should not perish but have everlasting life." I mean, he loved us that much. I mean, he loved us to come down and walk on this earth and go through these troubles and trials and die and hang on the cross.
Amen.
And he loved us that much. He loved us that much. I mean, I believe that Bartimaeus saw how much he loved him.
Yes, sir. Sure.
I believe that Jesus Christ was probably the only person that had anything to do with it.
You're right.
I mean, if you read through it and stuff, I mean, I believe he was really about the only one that just really had anything to do with him, because these people was telling him to be quiet.
Yep.
They trying to get him not to mind that old beggar laid on the side of the road.
Sure,
but Jesus Christ, I mean, you think about what kind of God we serve, what kind of Savior that we have that goes down even the people that you think that is most unlovable. He loves them anyway. And I'm thankful for that. That stirs something up inside of me.
Yes.
I mean, we was unlovable one day, but he still loved us anyway. I mean, it don't matter what you've done. It don't matter how bad you've been or how good you've been. He still loves you. And I'm thankful that we have somebody that's taken closer than a brother.
Amen.
I mean, the Bible tells us that he'll never leave us nor forsake us. He loves us that much.
Amen.
He loves us that much. I mean, just for somebody that people didn't even pay much attention to.
You're right.
And he healed them. I mean, that was something big, I'd say. I mean, I wasn't there to experience it or nothing.
Sure.
A man that was blind, he couldn't see nothing. I mean, I couldn't imagine being blind. I couldn't. A man that was blind, but he still loved it. He healed him. He made him to see.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm thankful for that. But,
amen.
Thirdly, I'll preach on. I'll go on here. I believe he saw the blessings of God.
Sure he did.
What the blind man saw that day. What the blind man saw that day, he saw the blessings of God.
Yes, brother.
The blessings that bestowed upon him that day. You think about what a blessing that was to him. You think about what a life-changing experience that was to that blind man right there. You think about that. Just think about you whenever you was lost. You never really knew nothing about the blessings of God. You didn't know what being blessed was. Just to be honest with you, you didn't have eternal thoughts. You didn't really understand the blessings of God.
Yes.
This man right here saw the blessings of God that day. He received his sight that day. He could see.
Amen. Sure, brother.
He could see. Philippians 4:19, the Bible tells us, "But my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches and glory."
Yes.
He shall supply all your needs according to his riches and glory. We're blessed today. That's right. We was in the same situation as this man. We was blinded to this. We was blinded to this world. The only thing we seen was these things around us. We never looked on the things that was eternal. We didn't have that godly outlook on our life. But one day Jesus Christ passed by. And he gave us a sight. We got to receive our sight that day. And we got to understand what those blessings of God was. We got to understand how it feels to be blessed. We got to understand whenever you're sitting at home alone or something, you feel like nobody's there. You understand what it feels like to have somebody right there. You understand whenever you think you're going to run out of money or something like that, you understand there's someone always there to take care of you. You think about or shelter or nothing like that. But I'm sure there might be some people in here, I don't know, that may have to go without it sometime. You think about that, you don't know how in the world you're going to feed your family. You don't know how in the world you're going to pay the next bill. But God still blesses you anyway. When you think about what this world's going on around us right now, all these troubles and trials and hard times that we're having, I mean, we're still blessed. We're still saved. We still get to see the blessings of God.
Amen. That's right.
We still get to see the blessings of God. We're blessed people today.
Yes, man.
This blind man got to see the blessings of God that day. What a blessing that would have been. What a blessing it was whenever I got saved.
Amen.
What a blessing it was whenever I got to see fully. I had a 20/20 vision then. I couldn't see nothing before. I was blind as a bat. Blind to the things of God.
Amen, brother. Yes, sir. Good preaching.
The blind man got to see grace. He saw the love of God. He saw the blessings of God.
Yes, brother. Amen.
James 1:7 says, every good and perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, in whom there is no variableness, neither shadow of return. This man was blessed. He didn't know. I mean, you know, a lot of times I feel like we go through this life, we get so used to, you know, coming to church and things. We get so used to hearing about God. We get just so used to being blessed, we don't really realize how it is to be blessed.
Right.
I mean, we can sit around, I can sit up here and preach until I'm blue in the face about how blessed I am.
Right.
I don't really understand how blessed I really am.
Me neither.
I really don't. There's people that's a whole lot worse off than I am right now. There's people that's got a lot harder times than I do right now. I'm just thankful for what God's done for me.
Amen.
You know, we see that he saw the grace of God. He saw the love of God. He saw the blessings of God. And lastly, I'll be done after this. He saw that he had a purpose for God. If you read right here in this last verse, it says, and Jesus said unto him, go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way. Sure. He followed Jesus in the way. I believe he had a purpose after that. He followed Jesus after he received his sight. I mean, the blind man saw all these things that Jesus Christ had done for him. He experienced all these things. And I believe that put a new purpose in his life.
Yes, amen.
That put a new purpose in his life. Whenever you was lost and you got saved, Jesus Christ, he gave you a new purpose.
Amen.
It's not going out and running around to the bars no more. Right. It's not going out with all you lost friends and partying downs and things like that. It's not doing all these things in the world. Right. It's a new godly perspective on life. It's a new godly purpose that you have after you get saved. And I believe this man right here, he was blind. He had never had a purpose in his whole life. But that day, whenever Jesus Christ passed by and he received his sight, that he had a purpose. I believe he had a vision on this thing. I believe whenever it says he followed Jesus in the way after what he had done for him. He had a new purpose in this life.
Yes. Amen,
a new purpose. Somebody that had never had no purpose before. Whenever you was lost, you didn't have much of a purpose. The only purpose you had was living for this world, and that was it. You didn't have a godly purpose. You didn't have something that has eternal consequences. You know what I mean? You didn't have something that, you lay up treasures in heaven. Right. You didn't have a purpose. You didn't have nothing like that. Whenever you got saved, you had a purpose, though. You got a new purpose. A purpose to witness, a purpose to go out and proclaim the gospel and tell people about God, and maybe that they'll get saved.
Sure.
The Bible tells us in John 15:16 says, you have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit shall remain, and whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he shall give it to you.
Yeah. Amen.
You got a new purpose in this life. You got a new purpose in this life.
That's good.
This man right here, I believe he saw his new purpose in life. He did. He had a new purpose. He had something that's going to count. He had something that's going to get him somewhere in this life. He followed Jesus. Followed Jesus.
Good stuff.
After we get saved, That's the only thing that matters in this life.
Amen.
Following Jesus Christ.
That's right.
That's it. Doing what's pleasing to Him, trying to be pleasing to the Father. Because He deserves it, TJ.
Yes.
He does. I mean, look what He done for this blind man. He done the same thing for you.
Amen.
This blind man followed Him after you get saved. You follow Jesus Christ because that's your purpose in life now.
Amen.
Your like I said, your purpose ain't to do the same things you was doing before.
Right.
Your purpose ain't to just work your job as hard as you can to acquire all these things in this life.
Right.
Your purpose is to be what Jesus Christ would have you to be.
Amen. Right. Amen, brother.
That's it.
Yes.
You know, all this ties in together just because Bartimaeus had faith. That's it. The only reason why I believe that He healed him that day, that He gave him his sight, is because Jesus saw that he had faith. The Bible tells us right there, it said, "Go thy way, thy faith had made thee whole."
That's right.
It's because he had faith.
That's right.
Amen.
Because he had faith.
Yes, sir.
That's the only reason why he got to see, is because he had faith.
Amen.
And he got to see all these things, experience all these things, because he had faith. That was it. But I'm done preaching. If everyone wants to.